think of it as a vast library of all of your soul's incarnations. And there are lessons that we can pull from the Akashic Records that give us growth. There are lessons that we can pull from the records that allow us to release, so we're not repeating that same cycle. So,
hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Soul Journey podcast. I'm your host, Amir Khouzani. Today, I'm joined by Selina Birch, an Akashic Record Meditative healer who transformed her life after 30 years in nursing. Through her own healing journey from chronic pain and trauma, Selina discovered the wisdom of Akashic Record Meditative healing and now helps others to release limiting beliefs, uncover deep patterns, and reconnect with their true divine essence. I'm excited to explore her story and the transformative power of this work. Welcome, Selina, and thank you for accepting my invitation to take part in this podcast and share your wisdom and knowledge with us today. Hello, Selina.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's always lovely to see you, Selina. We chatted a couple of weeks ago. You were kind enough to give me a session, and that was a beautiful, enlightening session. So I thank you for that.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Okay, Selina. And how are you feeling? Are you feeling well?
I'm really good. Yes. Yeah. It's I'm just living in harmony and bliss. Obviously, day-to-day things come along, but I'm very grateful for everything I have. So it's just beautiful.
Okay. All right. Well, we can start this podcast, Selina, to talk about you really and your journey. I know you've after such a long and fulfilling career in nursing, what actually sparked your journey into a spiritual path and led you to explore the Akashic Record Meditative healing?
So I think my story really is quite a common one. It's one where, you know, there's lots of people out there, myself included, have had childhood trauma, childhood challenges that then affect you in adult life. They, you know, influence the choices you make. They keep you in survival mode. And one of the biggest things is realizing that actually, you know, for decades, and I've turned the corner of 50 now, you know, so it has been for decades that I was in survival mode. And there's so many people who have the same story, just in survival mode, and shaped by things that have happened to them in the past. So for me, my father was heavy on the alcohol, which was quite an abusive environment, neglect there, lots of very, very different things. And that has an impact on the choices you make as you get older. So you stay in, for me, I stayed in a marriage that was, you know, where it was easy for me to walk on eggshells because that's what I'd learned to do as a child. So, you know, I've always been a little bit sensitive, but it was fearful. So I blocked it from a young age. I could sense a couple of things growing up, but blocked it completely, scared the living daylights out of me, as I think it does for a lot of people. And you move through life and you carry on and you just accept that this is the way it is. And, you know, but there has to be a turning point. And there was a turning point. So that, you know, you carry on and you carry on and you do. People just carry on with life. And just before COVID, I I was having Reiki from who is now a very good friend. She's a medium locally in Norwich, and I was having Reiki, and it was very, very clear, obviously, that I'm an empath, but you don't realize what that means when you're not really in that circle. You don't really understand that you're taking on the energy of others. My marriage, like I said, was challenging for almost 2 decades. And that was because I walked on eggshells. I wanted to people please. And it's the general story that lots of people who wake up will find that there's elements of that. And I'm only going into it very briefly, but there's elements of that ring very, very true. You people please, you want to help. I'm a nurse, always wanted to help, always wanted to heal, but felt it was my responsibility to help that person around me, when actually really all I was doing was causing disease within my body and illness. And that's what happened. You don't realize as an empath the amount of energy that you take on that actually isn't yours. And it manifested in chronic pain for years, chronic pain. Not able to fully get out of the bed properly, not able to walk down the stairs one foot after another. It was like one foot, then the next foot down on the step. Chronic pain. Consultations with doctors, pain relief. So everything was numbed out, really. Everything that was just going on was numbed out with strong painkillers. It was numbed out with antidepressants. And that was a pattern for a very, very long time. So I start having this Reiki and I start getting a bit of energy healing, and it's awakening something in there, in that I start to realize my patterns. So I realized why I walked on eggshells. I had that knowing. I had that connection. I had that knowing. And that is, that's a first step, but it's all fantastic. But then something else sets in, and it's fear then that sets in. And it's fear that's disabling. So fear of coming out of that environment, that's something that's been, I don't think inbred is the word, but it conditioned because of the life up to that point. So fear is disabling, and there's lots of people out there in fear. There's lots of people through world events, through personal events, that is just stuck in that fear. And it keeps you there, and it kept me there for a good couple of years. It truly did. And I was backwards and forwards. My friend was who's the medium, was doing a mediumship course on a one-to-one basis. And I did it, but I would stop, start. And she would say, like, spirit are not judgmental. They love us, but they want the best for us. They see where we should be. They see the potentials. So she would say, they're getting so frustrated. You stop starting. You're not making time for yourself. I worked full time, 2 beautiful children, a house to run and a husband to look after. 4 full-time jobs in itself. Somewhere at the bottom of all that was me, right down at the bottom. And don't get me wrong, my children will always be at the top. They are the most precious things in my life. But you end up giving from an empty chalice. So whereas, now I feel like my chalice is full of golden nectar, it was probably full of sludge before. I couldn't give anything else. So it all had to go somewhere. And it went into my body. My body took the brunt of it all. It took the brunt of the energy of my husband, who had his own demons, had his own struggles, was always in survival mode, had severe depression and behavioural problems, was absent. But I was used to that because that's what I grew up with. And you have friends tell you this is not right for you, you need to, and people would have moved on, but I wanted to help, that need to want to help, or that need to feel that I had to help in order to receive love. That's the key as well. I have to give something to receive love, when actually love it's just natural. Love is just from the heart and shouldn't be shouldn't come along with conditions and, you know, games. It should just flow as it does from the divine through us, around us. So, you know, 2022 was a year to remember. They say that if you don't take action, then, you know, you're kind of pushed into taking action. And that's what happened. You know, I'd done the mediumship course. And again, there was still that fear there with having loved ones come in. It still freaked me out a little bit. I could sense things. But what kicked in at that point was automatic writing. So it started off by doing a few poems, and then the automatic writing just kicked in. And it's just something that everybody can do. You know, something as simple as a pen and a piece of paper. Tell me what I need to know today, and then just write whatever comes. And that's what I was doing. And that kicked in. And then obviously we had COVID, and that was pretty horrendous for a lot of people. My daughter had just started high school. That was pretty horrendous all round. And then 2022 hit us. And at that point, my son, he followed in the same footsteps. He's a nurse himself. I'd met this lovely girl, but her mum had surgery for cancer and was given a terminal diagnosis. So she moved in with us at the beginning of that year, and obviously her mum was very poorly, so there was lots going on there. And then because we're actually north of England, we're from Yorkshire. I had my son's family, so I was married previously, and my first husband died when my son was 5 in a traffic accident. So he was knocked off his bike, but his mother and sister were still where we used to live up in Yorkshire, and grandma had fallen ill. So she was quite ill. She'd had a stroke. She found out that she had cancer. So we went up to see her. So there was all that. And then things hadn't been obviously for many years not right in my marriage, and we just carry on and you carry on, and that's what survival and fear does. It makes you carry on with the unacceptable. And then so we had my son's girlfriend's mum really poorly, terminally ill. Grandma then was ill and ended up being terminally ill. And then my husband had gone up to Yorkshire because his stepdad was ill and in hospital. So there was lots of things. So then on the day that my son's girlfriend mum, she passed away, on the day of her funeral, we found out that grandma had died. And then like within a few weeks, my husband's stepdad had died. And in the meantime, while he was up in York, he was sorting out a place for him to live and a place for himself to live and finding himself a job. So when he come back, we decided he was going to move back up north, and we were going to stay here. He'd actually made our life pretty unbearable for 10 years, that we had moved down to Norwich from Yorkshire. And it was a relief, to be quite frank. It was a relief. It was a relief for my children. He loves them very much. I know he does. But he'd been very not present. He'd been absent for most of that time, dealing with his own. So that year we had 3 deaths in the space of like a couple of months, and he left. And in amongst all that, I'd gone to take the dog for a walk where we live. We have this most beautiful wood. It's literally across the road from my house. I love it. I love nature. I love trees. I have a really, a deep connection with my trees. I just love them. And I usually take the dog for a walk on my own. This time he'd come with me. He was walking in front of me. And I had this most amazing, serene, peaceful split second of a moment before I hit the deck and collapsed in the middle of the woods, just collapsed. Anyway, my son managed to find us, and we got got me home. And that day was the day that I never touched a strong painkiller again. that day was the day that I started to wean myself off the antidepressants, because you can't just suddenly stop taking these things. But I never touched a strong painkiller again. And it was really tough. I looked at other ways. I used turmeric, because turmeric's quite good for anti-inflammatory. And then I started writing. I picked up my pen, I picked up a journal, and I backtracked all the way to childhood. Okay. So I already had insight. I already knew the why I behaved and allowed the behavior to continue. Let's go back. Let's release this. Let's look at this again. And that started the whole process of healing, of seeing that, yes, my dad was an alcoholic and abusive, but actually he had a very tiny, small toolbox. He couldn't cope with life himself. So he drank. And it didn't make him a pleasant person. It doesn't excuse what he did. But I was able to see it in a different light. I was able to see my mum and the challenging relationship we had in a different light. It was all just like a light bulb moment. We all, we all behave or and not always the best behavior for our highest and truest good, but sometimes there is an underlying reason for it. And now I can look back. I did a lot of writing, a lot of looking at situations as they would arise. So, scenarios as they would arise, I would write them down and actually say, I forgive you. I forgive myself. I forgive you, and let it go. And I did that each and every scenario. And there was lots of them. And then I went on to my first husband, who, again, it wasn't the healthiest of relationships because, just because of the way that I didn't want to be on my own. I needed to be with somebody, and I jumped into it very quickly. And I don't regret it at all. I have a beautiful son from that marriage. I don't regret any of it. I can see the healing around it. So again, scenarios I would write down. I would release it, forgive, release, but release and forgive myself as well, which is really important, And then if conversations come up where, I am a compassionate and loving person, but when you're in survival mode, you don't always act in the best way or say the right things at the right time. And it's not meant in hatred, or I don't like that word, but in malice. It just happens and you don't realize. So things would come up, conversations would come up, and I'd have to forgive myself, and I'd have to forgive the whole situation. And as that progressed over the last sort of 3 years, I can now go into any of those situations and visualize and actually put myself into that situation and send the divine love and healing that's needed to actually clear all of that energy. So that's how I started. I carried on. So I started doing this. He went back to York. There was me and the children, and we were just picking everything up, just trying to pick everything up. So I'm doing the writing, and then it was like, okay, so I need to do something else now. I'm going to start getting up half an hour early every morning for work, which is easy in the summer because it's light. In the winter, wet, cold, not so easy. But half an hour. Right, okay, what do I do? Okay, so I'm a single parent now, so I'm not going to afford all these things. YouTube, excellent resource. Free meditations. I started off with I started off with a spirit guide, 10-minute meditation. That's all it was. Then I went on to healing chakras, and they were 10 minutes each time, because before work, when you're busy needing to get ready and get everybody ready for school and do the school run, that's all I had, but that's all I needed. And 10 minutes out of your whole day, especially at the beginning of your day, we make all these excuses. I ain't got time. I'm too busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then at the end of the day, you're too tired. And I've made all of those excuses. And I'm very good at procrastinating. I always, but 10 minutes, and it was amazing. It just changed my life completely. And then things would start showing up on YouTube. So there was a channeler called Lee Carroll who channels beautiful energy called Cryon, and it kept showing up on YouTube. And I was like, ugh, channeling? No, that's what a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. This was in the very beginning. So I kept turning it over, but it kept coming back and he kept coming back. I was like, right, okay, I'm going to listen. And at that point, they do things differently now. You have to join, but they used to show the first episode of their healing program that they had every week. The first episode every month was put on YouTube. So religiously, I would watch that and any kind of cryon material that I could get my hands on. Eventually, I did join their healing circle, and they had guests on, and some guests that resonated would offer free things. So then I would pull that into my energy field and I would put that in my toolbox, see, and a lot of the things in the beginning were things that were gifted, things that were free. And then up comes this beautiful lady called Amy Roberson. So she is an Akashic Records master teacher. She is the most amazingly beautiful energy and just awesome person. I love the way she was teaching, and she did an Akashic Records reading on Cryon on Lee Carroll's Healing Wednesday show. I then started following her on her group on Facebook. And then when every so often she'll have like masterclasses. So it's called Sacred Awakening. So for the Akashic Records and to learn how she does it. Obviously, there are lots of teachers out there and everybody, there's no right or wrong. I felt attuned and resonated with Amy's teaching and the way she delivers. So I'm in the group. First off, actually, when her students have done, so like I gave you that Akashic Records reading before the last one, we have to practice with people. So we practice and they advertise that in the group itself. So I got this beautiful healing Akashic Records reading off this amazing person called Angel Light Therapy. And my daughter and I, we'd just been to Glastonbury. We'd just been to Stonehenge in the August. This was 2023 in the August. We've been to Stonehenge, and that drive, I don't know if you ever get a chance to do it. The drive from Stonehenge to Glastonbury is energetic. It was like I was flying. The scenery is amazing anyway. They have lots of energy there with crop circles, but up to Glastonbury and going up to Glastonbury Tor, it was the most amazing, energetic feeling. And in this healing that Angel gave me, she took me back there. She knew I'd been there. She knew I'd just been there. I hadn't mentioned it, and my mind was blown. I had this most amazing healing. And then Amy did her 2-week free. So she does Monday to Friday, 2 weeks, and then encores sometimes as well of Sacred Awakening, which is, yes, obviously to promote her course, but there's lots of healings there. There's lots of information about the Akashic Records, what it's about, whether you resonate with her, you get to know her sort of style. I was like, yeah, this is kind of for me. And sort of 3 months before that, I was sort of like the end of 2023. I was getting frustrated. That human part of me was like, okay, I'm journaling, I'm releasing, I'm healing, I'm clearing out, I'm doing these meditations, but I'm not seeing anything. The fact that I'd come off all those medications and that I was able to release and connect in, and that doesn't play with your human mind because you want things to happen quickly. You want things to happen yesterday, don't you? Rather than taking it slowly in that process. And obviously then I had the session with yourself as well at the end of 2023. And I was getting frustrated. I was like, come on, show me something. I'm doing all this. Show me something. And I'm a really visual person. I occasionally will hear very clear, odd words, but generally speaking, it's more the knowing and feeling of words that are coming through rather than actually hearing words. But I'm very, very visual in what I see. And I heard very, very clearly 3 months. 3 months took me to February. February was when I had the masterclass for Amy. And then I joined and did the Akashic Records. And it just opened up from there. So you meet a most amazing people. Some people are already on their journey. Some people they've already got businesses in healing and all sorts. And they want the Akashic Records to come in to speak to the masters, teachers and loved ones to enhance that and grow and expand. There's a few varying degrees of everybody. So we're all there. We're all practicing with each other. Meet some amazing, just absolutely amazing people in it. And you do your readings and you practice and then you get certified. And then obviously some people have obviously made that as part of their journey, it's part of my journey as well, but part of their business. So whilst I'm doing all this in the background, I still have these health issues. So my chronic pain is lessening. It's lessening with the connection I have, the deeper understanding I have, the releasing and the healing. It is lessening. I'm able to walk down the stairs at speed. It's amazing. But at the same time, I've also got this hernia in my abdomen that, because of the pain that I'd been in, chronic pain, because I couldn't lose the weight they wanted for me to have the surgery because I was in so much pain when I was in that, really challenging place in life. So they took me off the waiting list. And again, it's that thing of you still give in, but you're giving from maybe not quite such an empty chalice. It's a little bit full, but it's still not all the way. So I just neglected it and it just got bigger and it just got worse and it just got bigger. And I had met a really beautiful lady who was a yogi healer who helped me with the pain of the hernia. But it got to, again, it's like that. It's like the collapsing in the woods. If you don't do something yourself, if you don't look to try and sort something out yourself, they're going to do it for you. They can't interfere with free will, but they're going to push you. And they did. I ended up in hospital in August of last year with a bowel obstruction. And it was awful. It was unpleasant. And my daughter still has nightmares about it and my son. But I'm so grateful that it happened because it set me back then onto a healing path, further healing path. So then I was able to, because of the obstruction, it was a chronic obstruction. I had adhesions that were wrapped around my bowel. So whereas you have that, your bowel is quite open, it allows food to go through. Mine was really tight. So the only thing that could go through my bowel was liquid. So I was on a liquid diet of soup and yogurts and occasionally I'd try a very soft diet, but suffered for it afterwards. And that continued all the way up to March of this year. We got a date. Unfortunately, just the way I am. The week before, I thought, right, I'll do this, I'll get all this done, I'll run around here and I'll run around there. And I didn't need to do any of it. And I didn't, because they just put me in hospital. I went into hospital so that I could rest. And I know that was why, because I know that, and my son said to me, Mum, you were going to do so many things in that week, weren't you? And I was like, yeah, I didn't need to do any of it because we were moving all of our stuff into my son's house for when I got out, because it was a very, very complex operation. And I didn't need to do any of it because they could sort it. But I didn't in the end. I ended up back in hospital for a week. Fortunately, we held off for the major surgery. And I was, I had the surgery. I had 4 days in HDU. I had 3 weeks in hospital, and I've got, so many scars from, and the one is from under my rib cage all the way to my pelvis, because they had to open me up and take some bowel away and take the middle part of my abdomen away and then stretch me back together again. So it was a very complex operation, but I'm just so grateful. The healing has been amazing. Not in the beginning, the first few weeks, I was so drugged up. I was flying from Christ the Savior in Brazil. They were laughing their heads off me. I was so high on medication because it was so painful. But once I managed to start to come off them and hear things like, me saying in my head, it was like, you are a healer. Yeah, I am a healer. So why am I just this? Get your act together, Selina. You can do this. So I stayed at my son's house for a little while, but once I got home and then I was off all the medications, I was able to then start my healing process again and releasing and being grateful. And the healing I don't even think I have the words to express how phenomenal, considering I had to have every single layer of my abdomen put back together again. Within 4 months, I'd gone up to see my son at work and saw the surgeon. He didn't even recognize me. He did not recognize me at all. And it's almost like it didn't happen. I know it did because I can look in the mirror and I can see the scar. I know it happened, but it's almost like it's just gone. And I think with the healing, even with the childhood things, it's gone. And I was in my records this morning and they were showing me that it started off like a strand of hair and you get your split ends at the end. And then they changed it to a rope because it was a bit more visual. So you've got a rope in front of you and you've got it frays in places, doesn't it? Here, there and everywhere. You've got little bits of frayed of rope. And then you start your healing process. You start here. And as you're moving along and you get to here, actually what happened in the past is not frayed anymore. So the energy is smooth. The rope is smooth because you've changed the past. From a logical human standpoint, it happened, but you've done all this inner work and everybody can do it. It's hard work. But we've got a whole team of helpers. We're not on our own with it. We've got a whole team of helpers and you don't have to. Yes, I did spend money on the Akashic Records and it did help me, but I'd done a lot of free things beforehand. And there's so much free stuff out there, people giving you masterclasses. Yes, they do want you to take their class, but actually you can do their free stuff as many times as you need. You sign up for it and it all helps until you are at that point, then maybe you do need to take a class. There's one thing that Lee Carroll and Cryon said once, and it sticks with me, is that we have absolutely everything that we need within us. And a lot of channelers will say that as well when they're channeling. Everything that we need is within us. It's just removing all the minutiae, all the sludge to get to that golden light that is in our heart space. And then listening and trusting. Trust is so important, that because you feel as though you're going mad, you feel as though you're going crazy because you're probably the only one around you that's experiencing this at this moment in time. And yes, you can speak to people online, but the people that are physically around you are not on, and nobody's on the same path, are they? We may intermingle a little bit, but nobody's on the same path, although it's all enlightenment and growth in whatever areas or however it happens. But we have everything inside us. We have everything we need within us to release. And the key is it's a choice whether we do it. I chose to do that. I chose to release the past. I choose to connect in. I choose to want to give this to people as well. rather than, I suppose, for some, it's that victim mentality, you know. My brother is very different. He is the one that thinks the world owes him. And you either go in those directions and, maybe in time he'll find that different way of working. But I knew that I wasn't going to. It just had to be as it is. So
Yes.
the Akashic Records started everything. Well, lots of things started everything, but the Akashic Records just give me so much joy. You connect in, you get information, you ask questions. So for me, I can do it for myself, I can do it for other people. So I ask a question, and for example, I'd asked a question, I'll show you the question. So, dear masters, teachers and loved ones, I love connecting. I suppose I have been lazy and procrastinating because when I go into the records, I don't seem to be able to stop writing. So I find that I end up doing other things rather than doing it all the time and not doing my automatic writing. So I apologize. So the response was, Dear Selina, you beautiful ray of divine light, there is no judgment here, none at all. We see the work you put in every day. We see you as you are, the divine light that you are, remembering. We also see your frustrations with physical health and we are available to help you and put yourself out there. We ask you, whilst you wait for that divine link that is ringing its way to you, be that a person or course or both, what you can be doing. So sitting and setting aside an hour a day to do my automatic writing. Well, anybody can do that. Sitting and setting aside 10 minutes in the morning for your meditation. And at the end of the day, even if you're just journaling and not connecting and asking spirit for advice, you can just journal your day so you're not keeping it fixed in your body. And then day one, do you not see how much you are already doing? How much you have already accomplished with our assistance? You know who you are, and whilst you may not sit fully in that full power, just sit. And this is not a feeling or judgment, or the physical body, but the physical body needs time to adjust to the new frequencies and to maintain them. And least not forget, day one, you, my child, have been through a huge shift and awakening in your own healing journey. Do not take lightly what you have already accomplished. It may not be the physical accumulation of wealth or physical items, but it is well-being abundance that you have achieved. And we congratulate you on this. We also want to remind you of this so that you realize how powerful you already are. In 1 year, your health issues have been resolved, and we see how grateful you are to us for our assistance. And we are grateful to you. You did this. Yes, we are always around each and every living being, but without your allowance, without your clearing of debris and releasing of karma, contracts, ties, ancestral lineage, you would not have received the full energetic healings or upgrades we send your way, because each of you has free will. By allowing and opening up to more, to source energy, to your higher self, you allow more healing in, with growth in, more joy, more abundance, more connection, more of all it is that you are, and more importance, that remembrance that you too are divine source energy, and you are already a powerful master of your own life and creation. We ask you not to think lightly of what you have already accomplished. You are right where you should be, not stuck, not behind, perfect as you are.
Beautiful.
And the Akashic Records just give you so much. The key is having the questions and then being able to go a bit deeper with the questions. And then as that has happened, I've always felt connected with Gaia. And I said, the trees, I have a beautiful blossom tree by the side of me, and somebody cut it down to its bare minimum one year. And I almost, what I did, I started crying because I felt I don't want to say the pain, but I could feel it. And I just can't, I just, anyway, the energy of Gaia, the energy of the trees. And I was just sat one day in meditation, and Gaia come in. And previously in one of Cryon's green mist healing meditations, Gaia had come to me and given me a crystal necklace. A year later, my birthday, a year later, my son's girlfriend actually brought the physical necklace to me. So I received it in meditation, and then I received it in the physical as well. My mind was just absolutely blown. It was awesome. And it just re-cemented the connection that I have with Gaia. And these healing, they've evolved. So it started off with me going into deep meditation, and Gaia would come in and we would cleanse and clear my energetic bodies. So my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body, my ego, my inner child, and my spiritual body will all receive this beautiful silver elixir to help cleanse and clear. And then everything was drained into like a pit where I have the most amazing, wise oak tree. And they would, the oak tree would then just transmute all that I was releasing back to the universe in love and light. And I did that a few times. I thought, okay, I'm going to try this on one of my friends. And I tried it, and it was awesome. And they really thoroughly enjoyed it. And then these experiences, because they're quite visual for me, I actually go in and visualize everything that I'm seeing. But obviously, for the people that are in front of me, they can see they don't have to see the same things. I'm just doing this Gaia guided, and it's channeled because I'm in my records at the time. I'm only in my records. I can't be in the person's records in front of me. I need your permission. I'm in my records. So it's my channel. They're channeling through me. And they've just evolved. So, masters, teachers, and loved ones have come in for various people that have been very individual to them. And then Gaia has done, this seems to be not so much generic, but the cleansing of the energetic areas and the chakras, is very similar for most people, but there's an element beforehand that's channeled that is very unique to the person in front of me, and they've just evolved. And I don't know, I'll sit an hour before I'm going to do these channeled, Akashic guided channeled healings, channeled meditations. I've not quite got there with the wording really, other than just saying what it is. And I sit an hour before, I ask if there's anything about the person in front of me that they need to know, like I did with yourself. And then we just go into relaxation and then into the meditation. And it's very visual for me, receiving the information. It's very visual. And I sense and I can feel things. And like I said, I just go with it. There's no pre-planned, like when I'm automatic writing, it's there, it's written. This, other than if there's any information that you need to know from the masters, teachers, and loved ones, everything is just with allowance, just flowing. And I just go with it. It's the only way I can explain it. I just go with it. Sometimes some light language will come through. Sometimes there'll be some channeled words. I will just let it happen and let it go through. And this obviously has happened since I've been able to connect in the records. And I love it. It's just beautiful. It truly, truly is.
Lovely. I was glued to the screen listening to it. It's full of nuggets. How you manage to deal with the situation and how you manage to go through your surgery and then recover in a short space of time, so much so that your surgeon doesn't recognize you. It really is a beautiful story and full of lessons in it. And thank you very much for sharing it with us. I'm sure a lot of people out there who might be listening or watching this podcast, they will benefit from it. I was going to go to next to understanding the Akashic Record meditative healing and ask you, for those who may not be familiar with your work, what exactly is Akashic Record meditative healing? I think you briefly went into it, but for those who don't actually know what Akashic Record is, can you very briefly, what is Akashic Record?
Akashic Records. So think of it as a vast library of all of your soul's incarnations. So we repeat the cycle, don't we? Reincarnation. And there are lessons that we can pull from the Akashic Records that give us growth. There are lessons that we can pull from the records that allow us to release, so we're not repeating that same cycle. So it's where the masters, teachers and loved ones can come through. So you've got the guardians of the records can come through and give you information. So if we was just having an Akashic Records reading, I would have asked you beforehand to not have any alcohol for 24 hours, have some water, have some questions. We would do a very brief meditation just to relax you, just to get you into that kind of center and grounded into Gaia. And then you would ask, I would already be in my records. I would then ask for your permission to go into your records, and I would say a silent prayer, asking the masters, teachers and loved ones and the guardians of the records to open yours. And then once they are fully open, that's when we start conversing. So you would ask me whatever question it was that you wanted to know. A lot of people's questions when I do a reading is, what's my soul purpose? That comes up so much. I feel as though I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but what's my soul purpose? That comes up so much. Sometimes it'll be about the very general ones, soul purpose and sort of alignment of chakras. So I can see people's chakras, and when they're slightly out of alignment, because I am quite visual, I can see they either look a little bit cloudy, or for me, they have little black, like little seeds in them. So if they need some clearing, or they need some work doing, or like your lower chakras need some work on releasing trauma or releasing patterns, so we can delve into, it's limitless. It's only limited by the questions that are being asked, really. And, and that is actually the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing that I found, that when I started reading in the records for myself, and unfortunately, during the training, we get a list of really strong questions that we can delve in further. And she's a very, very good teacher, is Amy, especially when getting the most out of your session. But that for me and for a lot of people is, I don't know what to ask. You can say, yes, what's my soul purpose? But that's very broad. You've got probably 10, 20 steps to get to before you've got to your soul purpose, because you can't there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts on expansion and connection. have been conditioned, and we have to release so much to be able to get to that soul purpose, to where we feel. And that may change as we grow and expand, and as the energy changes around us, because it's ever changing now. The planetary aspects are just the harmonics of Gaia, and she's raising her consciousness, and we're going with her because we are part of Gaia, So it's the main thing. I've gone a bit off sidetracked there, but the main thing is the question, and then follow-up question: how deep do you want me to go with this? And it's limitless. It's limited by us as humans not being able to. But I suppose it's a case of we don't know what we don't know. If you're just starting out, we don't know what we don't know. And I remember, even when I had my first reading, I was like, I don't know what to ask. Is there anything I need to know? Well, that doesn't cover anything, does it? So it's for an Akashic Records reading. It's having the questions, follow-up questions, so we can go deeper and deeper. And within that, you can receive that healing because you're getting that information. You've got that energy as an energy exchange as well within our heart spaces that are connected. And then as that's progressed for me, so with the visualized healing meditations, I am the only one that's in the records. So I'm in my own records. I'm not in the person in front of me. And, when I was in my records this morning, that may be something that comes up to add more love and more growth to these healing meditations, visualizations as they progress. But at this moment, I'm the only one in my records. So I'm getting the information coming through from my records, from the masters, teachers and loved ones. And I take you on a journey of just very gently and just so that you know that you are safe in your heart space. And then we go into a beautiful place in nature and we just feel it. We take time to center, to be within ourselves, to feel the energy around us, because we are energy at the end of the day. Everything around us is energy, and just feel it without my mobile's going off, there's a text message, or there's this, or there's that. It's purely about the person that's in front of me, their time. And I will guide them. And I've had Master Yeshua come through, or Jesus come through so many times. And in fact, I actually pulled his card just before I did this reading as well, because I was saying to him, please come through. And he always comes through for me. And I know you've had experiences as well, which are beautiful. So I've had two that stick in my mind more than anything. And I'm blown away anyway every time, because it's just awesome. I'm receiving this energy. I feel really hot when I'm channeling it. So I know that it's genuine because I get really, really very hot. And Master Jesus come through with Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, and it was the most amazing healing. And then I've had another person from work who is Hindu. So we had Lord Shiva come through, and Krishna as well. And as I say them, I can see them in my mind now, and they come through, and it's just, I've had another one where she was just being curious. I'd put out that I wanted to offer some meditations, and it's catching people at the beginning, which is just amazing, because she just got a job in a crystal shop and she's just getting a bit curious. And how awesome is that? That's where you start, with curiosity. Actually, I think there is more to what we've been told, what we've been made to believe. then it just goes on from that, and synchronicities happen and people come along. But yes, so I've had some beautiful experiences with these meditations, and I obviously get the energy and get the healing as the person in front of me does as well. But they are only in their early stages, but they are very quite powerful. Obviously you experienced it a couple of weeks ago yourself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you do these sessions online. So obviously being
Yes.
online doesn't affect the energy feedback,
No.
which
No,
is
no, not at all. Well, you
interesting.
experienced it. Did you feel the full energy of it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for me, it was enlightening experience, and it was absolutely accurate. Because I hadn't told you many stories about myself,
Mm,
and it lined up. And it was after the session I told you my story, and we realized how much it was lined up. So
yeah.
yes, we don't. I was just asking that question for the general public because
Yes.
energy has no bounds. There is no distance to
No, it's
energy.
limitless.
So
Once we get out of our way, we get in our own way, don't we?
yes,
It
yes,
is limitless.
yes,
Absolutely.
yes. So it was lovely. I mean, this is quite a easy interview for me. You are talking about everything, most of the thing I was going to ask. I wanted to ask you. I'm a QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner. And I think you had a session with me as well.
I did,
So,
yes.
what is the difference between your modality, Akashic Record Meditative Healing, say we compare to a mediumship, or compared to QHHT, where the angelic, you connect with the angelic realm, you connect with your loved ones, you connect with your higher self, and you get messages coming through. Is it all the same thing, or
I think it does all interconnect, doesn't it? We're all doing the same thing, helping ourselves to realize the healing and the power within, because we give our power away too much. And, throughout my journey, I've heard them say to me, you're giving your power away.
mm,
And connecting with your higher self, you know, which you do with the quantum healing, for me, should have been, I felt like looking back could have been my first point, because throughout, I know that I did the healing with yourself. But from what I remember, it was talking. So, whereas this modality, yes, they bleed into one because your higher self is there, your higher self is guiding, the higher self is guiding me. So it bleeds into one, as all of the modalities do. But for this particular modality, for me, it's more visual. So when I had my QHHT with you, it was a two-way conversation with my higher self and you. A mediumship, you're asking specific questions again, and those people that go for mediumship are often people who are in pain from grief as well. Now, this would suit anybody that was at a stage in their grief where they'd held on to it for too long and it needed to be released. And I have had a session with a lovely lady whose dad come through and helped her just to release that heaviness in her heart space. But for mediumship, for me, and this is obviously my perception of it, is that, and my friend is a mediumship. She is awesome. She gives peace and love to those people who are in pain through loss. Whereas QHHT with the higher self, you can get guidance, obviously, can't you? And that connection can come through from that after your session. But also with the Akashic Records and the visualized meditations, it's expanding yourself. for me, this is how I interpret it. It's about expansion. It's about connection. It's about remembrance, about knowing actually who we are at the essence of who we are. We are more than this physical body. We are energy of love and light of the divine creator, God, source, whichever sacred title. And it's not in a religious context. We are beings of light, all of us. No matter what path you take on life, it's just you're bogged down and it's under layers and layers of pain, trauma, suffering, not excusing poor behaviour. That's not what I'm doing. But we are all actual beings of light, and we chose to come here at this moment and I don't even think the full extent of what's happening can be realised in our minds, because it's so immense, it's so transformative in the way humanity and consciousness will go. So that for me is the difference, in the sense that mediumship is connecting with loved ones and giving those people that are in front of you the peace and harmony, and knowing that their loved ones are not suffering and they are okay. And whilst with the Akashic Records, loved ones can come through, and like I say, with the meditation, loved one did come through, but it's just in a different modality. They all bleed into one, but it's a different modality in the sense that this is about self-expression,
Yes.
self-remembrance and expansion is how I interpret it.
Yes, that makes sense. And it is also what is attracted to people. Some people respond to certain modality more than they respond. It's how they set. It is how their energy is set, which is fine. This
is all of it.
And this
There's
is
it's not a competition, is it?
No,
Every
no.
modality that is put out there will resonate with some and not resonate with others.
Yes.
And teachers will resonate with some, and teachers won't, and it's all okay. It's you've got to go as the person that's looking for advice, guidance, support of where you go, how to start. You've got to go with what feels right, and you've got to go with that feeling inside.
And
really.
What is right for you at that moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Sometimes in the future, something else resonates with you more. It's like listening to some videos, and then as you develop, as you evolve, then you are pushed, you're guided to other things.
Absolutely. It's learning to trust that guidance, isn't it? Because I think I might have said before, and you probably felt the same way, you feel as though you're going a little bit crazy at times, because there's nobody around you sometimes that you can talk about these things, because they think because you are still functioning in society. You feel like, oh, if I say this, they're going to think, oh my gosh, she's a little bit cuckoo, So I can shine my lights, but I dial back the verbal things sometimes.
Yes.
Really. But yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's lovely. All right then. Are there any common misunderstandings about your work, about Akashic Record Meditative Healing, that you like to set straight?
I don't know about the healing, the meditative healing, because this is something I don't know. I've not seen anybody. I'm not saying that other people are not doing it. They might be doing it, but in a different format or a different way. This is something that I am just doing that's channeled to me, and I'm just going with the flow. I'm just going with whatever comes. So I've not seen this before, but I've not actively looked for it. There might be things that are very similar, and that's okay. Again, it goes back to what resonates with you. I think the main thing with the Akashic Records is realizing it's not a psychic medium session. It's not tapping into the energy for a psychic reading either, as to the energetics of what may or may not potentially happen. And it's not mediumship either. The difference is that you are connecting to a higher frequency and vibration with the masters and teachers, and yes, loved ones do come in. And I think, people see people who reading these things, and because psychic mediums have been around for a long time, psychic people, mediumship, so then seeing something that's just slightly different, it would confuse people perhaps. But with my healing meditations, and they are still like an ever evolving process that I'm going through. It doesn't stop here. I've not seen anybody do. It may be that somebody will listen to this and say, "Oh, I had a session with such and such, and it was very similar." That's fine. That's their modality. That's the way that they do them. I've not had training in this. This is something that has naturally just flowed, and I've allowed it to flow through me and within me, following, learning how to connect and go through the Akashic Records for people. So, I'm sure there are modalities and people out there that teach, train these sort of things, but this is something I want. And I have to think, I feel very strongly that this is stressed, that this is, yes, the Akashic Records was taught, but following that, this is me flowing with divine guidance from my guides, from my higher self. And it shows you the potential that we all have. Yes, I think, sometimes we need to go to somebody who can teach you to do these things, or have a session in QHHT to get us started, because otherwise it feels a little bit like you're fumbling around in the dark. And I felt like that. Yes, I did my meditations in the morning and I started to do automatic writing. I still felt as I was fumbling along. And when I was ready, the right opportunity came up with the course that I did. Yeah. But included in that is that we have all of these. It's just remembering. We've chosen amnesia, haven't we?
Yes.
And as we connect in more and more, and as we trust and we allow with conscious intent, more flows to us, and we get these insights and we get these things that come through as well.
Yes, I mean, it is. And also, I think it is, in some healers, is part of their mission that they have chosen to become healers. It's just the timing of it happens to be right. In your case, always universe work like a clockwork, really. You have to have your own experience of what you went through in order to get where you are and be able to offer the compassionate healer that you are. So it is a funny process that we go through, but I think most of it is pre-planned. And
yes,
I wanted to see if it's possible. I think we talked about it a little bit prior to this podcast, whether it's possible to do a live group meditative session now. Do you think?
I would love to. Obviously, this will be the first time that I've done one that isn't very specific to the person in front of me. So but they are showing me things already. So yes, absolutely. It's good to go.
Okay, so we just sit back and you guide us through.
Yep. I'll just center myself and ground. So I'm just going to ask you just to gently close your eyes and center yourself into your heart space. So that can be within your heart itself, or the heart space just under the sternum of the rib cage, your sacred place of safety. We're just going to get a little bit of energy just circulating around the heart space. So you might sense or feel in the heart space just gentle breeze, almost like an autumn day. You've got a gentle breeze and you've got the leaves are just flowing around you. And I want you to just take 3 beautiful, nice, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. So in through the nose. And then I want you to just sense, feel, or imagine this most beautiful golden light just at the top of your head. And you're still in your heart space. And this beautiful light, this elixir of love, of divine love, is going to very gently just flow down from your head, down your face, down the back of your head, down your neck. And as you feel, it's like golden honeyed elixir. It's the perfect, warm, loving temperature. And you know that it is just love. It is divine love. And it flows down your neck and down your shoulders, into your arms and hands, and down your back, and down the front of your chest and abdomen, and down your hips, into your thighs, down your lower back, over your knees, down your lower legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. And that beautiful energy feels loving, safe, warm, like a warm blanket on a winter's day. And then I want you to sense or imagine you've got roots coming down from the bottom of your feet, like roots of a tree. And they're going down, down, down all the layers of Gaia. And we're going to plug ourselves into Gaia's heart chakra in the center of the earth. And it's this most beautiful, magnificent ball of energy. And we plug ourselves in. And we take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when we inhale again, breathe in all of Gaia's beautiful, divine, feminine energy. So in our heart space, we've got the golden warmth of creation, the divine masculine, and the beautiful energy, energetic, healing energy of Gaia circulating us, entering our body to cleanse and clear. And as we've got these energies circulating around us and within us, nice and gently, we look to the back of our heart space. And at the back of our heart space is a door. And we make our way over to the door. The door may be open or you may have to open it. But as you do, you walk through that door. And as you walk through, you're greeted with the most magnificent forest. The forest, you look around, it is full of energy. It is alive. It's so alive and so full of energy. You can see sparkle dust like fairy dust, crystalline energy, energy from the elementals and the fairies, just circulating gently all around. And we're going to just explore this area. We're going to have a good look around, and you may sense, feel, or imagine different to how I see, and that is perfectly true and right for you. Just trust what you are seeing, trust what you are feeling, and know it to be there and know it to be true. And we look around, we've got beautiful, magnificent trees in the distance. And if we look closely, we can see how they interact through their beautiful golden streams of light, connecting and supporting each other in the forest. And we've got a gentle breeze across our face as the leaves are rustling around. And we look and we've got the sense of beautiful flowers. Now these can be any colour, your favourite flowers, perhaps a rose or a daffodil or a lily. Whichever flower you see, sense, feel, just go with it. And know that it is there for you. It is there with purpose and meaning for you and perhaps any loved ones that you are feeling now connected to. You can see that the flowers and the grass that's all around is swaying with the beautiful energy that is all around. It's alive. It's alive with energy. It's alive with divine love and beauty all around us. And we may look off to the corner and you may see a spirit animal. I see an antelope. I see a wolf and a bear and some owls in the trees. You may see something else. Feel free to lose yourself in this visualization. Even if you cannot feel, if you cannot see any spirit animals, know that they are there. Tune in to your heart to feel the energy of those that are around you. And we take a few steps forward and marvel at this beautiful energy that's very gently, lovingly just caressing our face and like a breeze in our hair. Off to the distance, we can hear the subtle flow of water, of Gaia and her beautiful stream of water. And we have a few masters here for us today to help us on our journey of exploration, our journey of healing and connection. And to my left, I have Master Yeshua, Jesus, in all of his fine robes, white robes, and his beard and his long hair. Now this is how I see and how he appears to me. If he appears different to you, this is all right and true for you. And by the side of him, I've got Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, and I always have Joseph with me as well. Now, if you sense, feel, or can see or imagine another master, then that is also right and true for you. In this moment, this will meet you where you are at. And we have some beautiful divine angels as always. The magnificent Archangel Michael is always with us, always wanting to help and guide and love, support and protect us. And we have Archangel Shamuel with us with his blonde flowing locks of hair. and Archangel Raphael and many other angels are here to greet us. And Master Yeshua, Master Jesus is taking my hand to lead us towards a path. Now, as we see this path and we are led, and we have the angels holding our hands in the other hand, and we are gently being led to this path. And you look off to the distance, and in the distance there is this magnificent palace or castle. It may be a Gothic church or cathedral. There is no right and no wrong. It is what you see, sense, or feel that is true for you. And we're being led onto this path, and we take a step onto the path. And with the energy and the magic that is around us, in a blink of an eye, we are standing in front of this magnificent palace or castle or church or cathedral, and we are being invited to step inside. We still have the masters and the angels with us, guiding us. And just outside the palace and cathedral, we have some magnificent master dragons with us as well. And they bow their head as we pass and allow us into the church, the building, the palace, whichever the castle is right and true for you. And it is magnificent. It is full of divine light, creator, source, God energy. And you can sense and you can feel the most beautiful sparkle dust. It's like fairy dust, but full of love. Golden love from each and every heart space of all that are here in this space, holding space for each other with love in our hearts, with love, with connection to God, to source, to creation. And we're having a look around, and in the middle of the room is what looks like a large bathtub. And we're being drawn and still holding Master Yeshua's hand or the angel's hand, or even you may see your spirit guide come to you if this is the first time you have entered such a meditation. And this pool, we have a look in, and it looks like water. It is a multitude of colours. There's greens and there's blues and there's purples and there's reds, and we know that it is not just water. It is an elixir of life, an elixir brought to us by the goddess Gaia, by all the goddesses of the forest and the elementals and the fairies. And we are being invited to take our shoes off if we have not already at the door as we entered, and to step inside this beautiful healing elixir, just a little thicker than water, but nothing that you're going to get stuck in, remembering you are safe and loved. And you may sit up to your neck, or you may stand. This elixir is going to nourish and cleanse and clear your heart space specifically. Now, the healing will take place on many layers of your auric field, and on many layers of your chakra balancing, healing energy systems. But this is for you, for your heart space, for any pain that you are suffering from, any conflict, any trauma. Allow that elixir to enter into your heart space. And as it does, you can still see and sense and feel the divine energy of creation, of the angels. They're all supporting, and the masters and the loved ones. They are all supporting this beautiful cleansing of the heart space. And they're asking you to release, to trust, to know that you are safe, to know that you are a piece and a part of the divine creator, of God, of the universe, of source. And all of the masters, teachers and loved ones, we are all one, they are saying. You are us and we are you. Release all the past judgments of self. Forgive and allow in with your own free will, of course. The love that is always there, that golden ball of light that is just within your heart space and available to you always, at all times, 24/7. No restrictions, no limitations, and no judgments. And they want to enforce that there are truly, truly no judgment. Judgment comes from the human form. Judgment comes of self, of things we have said and done that may not have been to our highest abilities, to our highest good. They want you to release that judgment, release that pain that it's causing, and allow this beautiful Gaia-infused elixir just to enter into the body from the top of your head and allow it into the crown chakra and down the third eye and into the ears, into the throat chakra, into the upper heart. And we're also going to infuse the upper heart with some pink tourmaline. My beautiful angelic guides of love, my angels are pink, and I call them cotton candy, candy floss of beautiful, fluffy love into the higher heart space. And Gaia is bringing in some emerald green, and also the angel Raphael is bringing in some healing green mist, green energy to help release that heart space, to help start the process of healing and of awakening, and allowing that to just circulate into the heart space so that green chakra starts to vibrate. And if you sense it to be a duller colour, it is now starting to turn into the most beautiful green emerald. And that elixir is also moving down into your solar plexus, bringing in some citrine as well. And if you feel like there is sludge there, feel like there is trauma holding you back, this is the place to ask your guides, ask the masters, teachers and loved ones for help and assistance in releasing what does not serve your highest good. Today we are just sending beautiful healing energy of that beautiful coloured elixir along with some yellow citrine into that area to swirl that energy around so it can be released. And the same with the sacral area. The beautiful orange carnelian, cleansing and clearing, and red tourmaline for the sacral area. And again, that elixir is just being poured from your head down your whole body, into the muscles, into your cellular structure, into your bones, into your nervous system, into all the systems of your body to help you start the healing process of releasing, of remembering, of trusting, and of knowing who you are. And then stepping forward for each and every one of you is one of your many guides. For me, they're on my left side, and they're handing me the most magnificent ball of golden light, of divine, beautiful essence. And you hold out your hands, and that energy is in your hands and placed into your heart space. Remember who you are. You are divine creator. You are magnificent. You are a piece and a part of the whole, and the whole is of love, of joy, abundance, well-being, and all and so much more. In the human form, we place limitations, and the masters, teachers, and loved ones, your guides, Gaia, and creation, the love of creation, God, Source, the universe, is asking you to start to forgive. Forgive yourself and those around you. Start the healing process. It does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be convoluted. Ask for guidance, listen and trust, for what you will receive is what you need in that moment. But for now, hold the space for that beautiful golden light to shine out of your heart space. Eka tu mesika atu kosha tu mena. Siti sikisi minina tasamadureka ebe siti shinana kana gogo goshumo kotukume kesitida hushimana kera sutu kokomana sa hasi fiti kisitisa disimina ne maa shumakotu sumana o he se ashimini kana mana tushane meshikene ma tukoma oshimo tika tushana go simana namasakata sume tika samana tuka shum demese shum tasamana ka ho hesa atuma push. And as we start to feel the energies all around us, we step out of this beautiful healing elixir. And again, to my left is Master Yeshua, holding my hand, and the angels are holding my other. And in that, we step outside and we are transported back to that beautiful forest area Feel the energy. Feel the love that is all around you. But most importantly, feel the love without judgment, without limitations within. And that's where it starts. Know it, feel it, own it. Call back your power from every dimension, reality, conversation, experience. Call it all back. It is yours. It is now. The time for healing and releasing is now. Own it. And very slowly, we're going to thank the masters, teachers, the loved ones, and the angels, and the elementals, and the energy that is all around. And of course, divine creation, source. And we're going to make our way back to our heart space through the door, the back of our heart space. And then we find ourselves in our heart space again. And that golden light is now just circulating around us and wrapping us up like a golden blanket of love and divine knowledge and knowing. I need you to take a deep breath in and a cleansing breath out. And start to rub your hands together. And whenever you are ready, open your eyes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that lovely meditation. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
so glad that the light language came through. That was lovely.
Thank you. Thank you. For people who I've never heard like language, you may not understand the words, but feel it. Just close your eyes and feel it. Your higher self, your soul knows it. And sometimes it releases emotion, doesn't it?
Mm. Mm.
It can release emotion. That's good. That's really good if it does make you yawn, cry, or it may just sit there with you.
Yes,
there's no right, there's no wrong.
There is no right or wrong, yes. It's lovely. I can feel it every time I hear it. I can feel the energy going through entirety of my body.
Oh,
Sometimes
that's beautiful.
It brings tears for whatever reason I don't know, but it does. So thank you very much indeed for that lovely meditation.
Yep. Most welcome.
People who may be interested to book a session with you, how do they go about contacting you or booking a session? I take it you're open to taking booking. Is that right?
Absolutely. So I still feel like I'm just trying to ground myself with some water. Whenever anybody, has one of these meditations, it's so good to drink water afterwards because it obviously grounds you. You can also, what I do with my water, for me, I will speak light language over my water or just give love and gratitude over it. And it fills it up and it actually tastes different. It's beautiful. But plenty of water to ground in the energy because I can still feel the energy. That's getting easier now. So yes, absolutely. So I am open for Akashic Records readings if that's, just something that you want to experience as a modality on its own. Obviously, the meditative visual channeled readings, and that, you know, it wasn't so much today, but I do have channelings where I channel messages as well from the masters, teachers, and loved ones. So we can just do a Gaia infused one. We can do a full one, which usually does end up being, before I realize it, about an hour, 50 to 60 minutes before I've even, because I'm so immersed in it, time sort of disappears. So that is kind of a longer one. If you just wanted a taster, we can do some chakra healing. I can feel that your back is a little bit tender and a little bit sore from the way that you're sat. So we can just do some, can just visualize and just send some healing, and we can do some chakra healings as well. So yes, but I think the best thing is to just be curious. If you just want an Akashic record reading, that's perfectly fine. Absolutely. If you wanted something a little bit more, then we can have a conversation as to what your needs and what you want are. So at the moment, I have my Facebook page, which is Selina Infinite Wisdom. And then my email address is selinainfinitewisdom@gmail.com. There is a website that is in the process of being put together, and there will be some very shorter healing meditations going on there that are going to be free for everybody to access. The more people we can reach, the more people that awaken, the more beautiful and peaceful harmony that we will all move into.
What I will do is I will put all that details in the description and try to display it on the screen as well. So
thank you.
Yes, it was a lovely chat. I'm sure
Beautiful.
A lot of people will enjoy watching you in action. It was lovely. I can see it. It came through heart. And is there anything you would want to say to somebody who may be a little bit unsure about diving in and have such a session?
Be curious. Just that curiosity will lead you down so many roads that can spark so many connections and areas that have the potential for so much growth. We're conditioned to be limited and live in fear. Well, that's changing. And the more people that we can reach, and the more people with the work that we both do and lots of other people do, for people to realize that we don't need to live in fear. That's not who we are at our core essence. Then just start with that curiosity. If you haven't got anything else, start with the curiosity and allowance. Just let that fear go. Allowance. Allow yourself to be guided. Yeah.
Yes. With that lovely message, Selina, I think I say goodbye to you, and I really appreciate your time you gave us today to talk with us and share your lovely story with us. Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Amir, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure. As always, speaking to you is an absolute pleasure, but thank you for having me, and just wish you all the success with all this. It's beautiful what you're doing.
Thank you. Bye-bye then. Bye.
Bye.
I am paid to exist. Abundance on my list. Every breath that I take is the proof of my gift. What I seek seeks me back. Every dream's on track. I am light, I am whole, all abundance flows back. I align with the flow. Every seed that I plant, it will grow. I am guided, supported by the light I've embodied. I walk fearless and steady, my path in full glory. My heart is the story. I am paid to exist. Abundance on my list. Every breath that I take is the proof of my gift. What I seek seeks me best. Every dream's on track. I am light, I am whole, all abundance flows back. Time is my ally, the present my gold. Every truth I embody turns to riches untold. From the silence I rise, from the stillness I see. All I need, all I ask flows with ease into me. I breathe in, I receive. I breathe out, I believe. I am here, I am blessed. I exist, I possess. I am paid to exist. Abundance on my list. Every breath that I take is the proof of my gift. What I seek seeks me back.